Hey everybody, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I am your host, Steve Penny. Joining me again this week, my man from Spain via Brazil. It's Rafa. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How has the last couple of weeks been treating you?
Yeah, everything is normal. The like I always like to talk about the weather's been crazy and yeah, a lot of work. Yeah, working on my illustrations. Oh, and 2 years, no, 2 days ago, a guy asked me for the N.E.R.D print. You know the last one that I did the with the shape POV.
hmm
And he asked me like it was a long time no one's like asked me about that one. I'm like, oh, I was surprised. And I didn't want to sell it, and I raised the price super like way up, and the guy was no, I'm gonna buy it. Like I want it. But, oh, okay. So it's yours.
Nice, in demand.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. Nice.
Good that you're keeping busy. Nice to hear the weather is crazy, and by crazy you probably just mean quite warm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It should be warm, but it's warm.
Getting warmer here, slowly but surely. I saw some sunshine today. It was amazing.
Enjoy it.
Well, yeah, I say that sat in my home office with the curtains drawn, just with the lights on above me and not leaving the house. But from the other window, I definitely saw some sunshine somewhere. All right, so this week we have got a track I've been like wanting to do for quite a while, and it's been on the list for a while. And whenever I've asked other people whether they want to do it, they've always passed over it for some reason. I don't quite know why. But this week you let me pick, and the OCD of the white space in the spreadsheet was, starting to annoy me quite a lot. So I thought we need to fill that gap. So we are doing this one that's been sat around for a while, and that is Major Lazer's Aerosol Can, featuring Pharrell from 2014. So yeah, 10 years old now.
10 years, man. I was surprised also when I saw it because I was seeing the singles that Pharrell put out, and he was like on Move That Dope, then Aerosol Can, and then Marilyn Monroe. Like such a random,
It's an eclectic
like
mix.
yeah, right? Like he put out Happy and then Move That Dope. Everybody was like shocked, like is that the same guy? And then Aerosol Can, like he was rhyming about drugs and big booty women. And then Marilyn Monroe, all of a sudden, like he's feminist again.
Yeah, I guess like at least with Aerosol Can, it's one of those because obviously isn't him releasing it. It could have been sat around for quite some time, and Major Lazer just happened to put it out when they put it out. But it is quite a juxtaposition, like you say, when you have Move That Dope, this, and then anything from the Girl album, basically, and Happy, obviously as well, just before it. It's quite a mixture of different tracks there. But let's
Yeah,
let's put a positive spin on it, and let's say it shows his versatility.
yeah, exactly. It's like he is his trademark, right? The versatile P.
So this one was, well, I've actually got two different dates here. So some places say 31st of January 2014. Some say the 14th of February 2014. I guess one may be the video, one may be the single, or it may be different regions. It came out on different dates. But from what I could see, this didn't get a massive I can't speak, worldwide release, and didn't chart brilliantly. The only information I can see on Wikipedia was that it got a single release in Australia and Belgium, where it charted, and not particularly highly either. And that was kind of it, really. I don't
Yeah,
remember it.
that's
I
insane.
remember the video coming out, but I don't remember it being released as a single itself. Well, I would have been in Finland at the time, but anywhere else. So people around the world, especially in the US, you can probably tell us if it actually came out as a single in your region, or whether it was just part of the album that came out at around the same time or not. But yeah, it got into a couple of those charts. Also featured in a couple of video games, NBA 2K15 and Watch Dogs 2. Two games I've not played.
I played the Watch Dogs 2. It's pretty good.
Okay. Better than Watch Dogs 1?
Mm, a little bit. Like it's just some upgrades.
All right, if you say so. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a good game. Trust me.
I trust you. The video directed by Kyle DePinner, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm probably saying that incorrectly. And so far, 12 million YouTube views. Now, what I did find interesting about this track, kind of before we get into the video and everything, is they actually held like a remix contest for it kind of quite soon after the release. So it came
Oh,
out in sort of January, February. Then in April, there was a remix contest done in conjunction with, what's the website? It is Beatport. I don't know who they are. And obviously, people could submit their remixes, and I think one of the winning prizes was that it would get, the remix would get released on the Major Lazer label as a kind of, an official remix. And then there were a bunch of other prizes such as a MIDI controller and what else was there? Some kind of beat pad type thing as well, and sound packs and stuff like that. So that happened. There were a couple of winners. I think one overall winner, and then one community pick winner. The overall winner, I couldn't actually find it anywhere. It's called the Peachy Remix. So if somebody out there has it, please let me know. And then the community pick winner was one called the Jackal Remix, which I sent over to you, I think, just before we started recording this, Rafa. It's actually quite a good
yeah.
remix.
Yeah, it's awesome actually. I was on the streets hearing that, and oh, what is going on with this with those sounds? It's pretty cool. And the crazy thing is like they kept the most of the instrumental. They kept it, but they add some crazy, like I don't know, kind of horror movie stormy sounds, and it sounds very good.
Yeah, it's a nice remix. I can see why it got picked as the as one of the kind of joint winners. So, if I remember, I will put a link to that in the show notes. And for those of you that were kind of, have been around since the old Star Trek forum days, and maybe still kind of engaged with some of us that frequented there, there's also a Mr. Carmack remix that's available on YouTube as well. So you may recognise his name. That's a very different remix that doesn't use a lot of the original sounds and vocals and stuff like that. It kind of chops bits and pieces out, but again, quite a decent remix. I thought, utilizing different parts of the track itself to form a brand new track.
Yeah. No, I also like that one very much. Like he almost sampled it, right? The the
Yeah,
track.
it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's he's chopped up little bits, little samples here and there, and mixed them around. Added lots of other stuff in. Yeah, so instead of a remix, I'd say it's probably a different track that samples Aerosol Can
Yeah. No, it also sounds very good. I mean, Mr. Carmack is always coming with the bangers.
for sure. Let's get on to the video. Now, what we must start doing is we must start planning which video we're going to do a bit more in advance, because we only actually picked it this morning and only had
Yeah.
today to actually look at it and take our notes and do all that sort of stuff. And I actually did reach out to the artist that's in the video, Mike Giant, but obviously because this was only a few hours ago, I'm sure he has had no chance to see my message nor respond. So going forward, let's maybe plan these a bit more in advance, and we might actually be able to try and get hold of people that are involved in some of these songs in these videos and rope them into coming in here. But as I mentioned, Mike Giant is the kind of artist in the video, and the premise of the video is kind of quite straightforward. It's a kind of a single white room where he is, writing the lyrics in his calligraphy art style up on the wall, and then certain parts of the lyrics also, they obviously had some post production animation in there as well, kind of transform based on the words and the lyrics and what's happening and stuff like that. Now, I thought this is like, it's a very simplistic video to look at, but I really, really like the video. I think it
No,
fits
it's
really
awesome.
well with the song, and it's so well edited together. And again, it looks simple, but having edited a few videos at a very basic level, I can tell that's an extraordinarily hard video to actually put together.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I really love how, like you say, is it looks really simple, but I don't know if if I was imagine like I was watching the video, they thought about like when they picked the artist, they thought about like, oh, he looks so cool because his whole body is all tatted and everything. He looks cool also and kind of match with the vibe of the song in the end with the lyrics. And I'm like, man, this video is really well thought of. And I was watching like that was kind of in the beginning of the lyric videos, right? I think lyric videos started on 2010, something like that. I don't remember very well, but this one I think I can put my coins on it that is one of the best lyric videos I ever seen. It's really good. And it also, since it's mixed with the illustration of the artist, like it kind of explain the lyrics also. So it feels a little bit like the Genius webpage, like they explain the lyrics and everything, putting like when he mentioned like Mario Kart, for example, like he put the shell or the mushrooms and everything. I thought that was very, very interesting, very, very creative.
The
Pretty
Mario
cool.
Kart bit we'll get to in a second because I've got another point on that. But yeah, like you said, I think actually having a person do the artwork and do the lyrics in front of you as part of the video makes it more engaging. Even if there weren't the animations and things like that, it would still be good to watch. Whereas most lyric videos, they are just printed on the screen in some way. They're all done in a video editing tool of some kind with maybe some nice backgrounds and whatever it might be, but they don't tend to be a video in themselves. Whereas this combines, an actual music video, but also kind of, a lyric video as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. And like you said, like the editing was pretty insane. Like if you really pay attention, is pretty good. And I mean, it also and when I said that this video looks really well thought of, if you think about like Pharrell's music, it's always like that. Sometimes sounds so minimal, so simple, but there's so much elements on it, and I was like, oh man, that's really cool. Like if they even thought about that, it's pretty genius, the video.
Yeah, and like you say, the editing part I'm really impressed with is the fact that he's writing all this stuff on the wall, but obviously as he writes on the wall, he's doing it is at his own speed. So he might do one thing really fast, he might then slow down, he might then take a break, he might then do a couple of lines really quickly, then slow down again. But then the editing after is not just sped up, but it's at variable speeds to match what he's writing to the actual lyrics as they're being said in the song as well. And that's where the
Yeah.
kind of editing, it's not trickery, but where the editing expertise comes in, because that must be a very, very time consuming edit
Oh
job
yeah.
to do that, to get all the different cuts, all the different angles, and then be speeding them up, slowing them down, speeding them up, slowing them down, depending on exactly what it is he's writing at any point, and what's happening with the lyrics as well. Because obviously the lyrics themselves, although there's kind of a rhythm to it, it does speed up and slow down slightly. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
the kind of editing job that I would find very, very tedious, let's say, and would probably make me want to kill myself.
Exactly. And the artist calligraphy, insane. Insane. I could watch that guy like do that like for hours. Like it's pretty insane. Like,
Yeah, I'd say
his
like I didn't really know
aesthetic.
much about him. I'd seen some of his stuff elsewhere before, but I went and checked out his website earlier, and he does obviously a lot of these big calligraphy pieces, a lot of big pieces of art, but also he does tattoos and tattoo designs and stuff like that as well. So he's a very well known artist, and yeah, if you like the style that you see sort of in the video, then I'd definitely say go and check out his website, which is mikegiant.com. And I think he's at Mike Giant, I think, on Instagram. But if you just type the name in, you'll find him like I did earlier today.
Nice. No, he's awesome.
Yeah. And what I one thing I also kind of liked about the video is that it wasn't trying to hide the fact that it was planned and kind of set up. So if you look at the walls, you can see they've obviously done pre-production. He's gone round with a pencil or whatever it is he uses to pre-mark all of the lines and where certain letters are going to be and where certain designs are going to be and stuff like that. And then obviously afterwards he's going over it in the video itself with a black marker pen. But I think you would get in a lot of videos they would kind of over edit the video and try and hide that kind of thing and block all those pencil lines out to make it look like he's kind of freehanding it. But I
Yeah.
like the fact they kind of kept it true to like what he was actually doing and how it was planned and what they were trying to show. Because even with those kind of pencil lines and pre marks down, it's still an amazing thing to be able to do.
Yeah, of course. And I saw a couple of videos of him like also doing something similar like that. And he's also showing how he pre do everything on the wall or whatever he's doing. So I think he also done it like that, and because of he must have a lot of fans, so the fans wouldn't feel like misleaded, like, oh, we know you, we know how you do it. So I think maybe they did it like that. They didn't try to hide it because they know how is the process of doing it. Yeah, pretty cool. And I, if I remember correctly, they put our making of how they did it, the video back in the day. I was trying
Oh, really?
to
Okay.
search it. Yeah,
I'll have to try and have a look for that later on. If I find it, I'll add it to the show notes for sure.
nice. Yeah,
Because I did go through. I went through his website to see if he had like a making of, or he had some blog posts, and I thought I'll see if he mentions the video in there at all. But on that and on his own podcast, I couldn't find any kind of reference to it. I think he does have a copy of the video itself, linked on his page to YouTube, but there was no other kind of thing referencing it that I could see. So, I'll have a dig around later and see if I can find that because that would be really interesting to watch.
yeah, exactly. And in a while, I was watching the video. I was thinking like, oh, this video is so dope. And I think it's not that it's missing something, but I think if Pharrell or the Diplo or both was in the video, the maybe even the song, but the song and the video will be, I don't know, you would have gotten more played or more famous. I don't know, because it's pretty insane the quality of the video. I think the video, in my opinion, the video is better than the song. The song is pretty amazing, in my opinion, but the video is a piece of art, and it's kind of like insane that those two artists, especially on 2014, that those two artists, that was Pharrell and Diplo, they did a single together, and it was basically a flop. It's insane. But also, like you say, like 12 million views on YouTube is not you know it's
Not
not a
anything to be sniffed
little
at, yeah.
views. It's not It's not a small number of views. So, and I was reading the comments, and a lot of people was, "Oh, I'm here because of NBA 2K15 or me or." because of Watch Dogs 2. So, oh, okay, that makes sense why people are like get to the song maybe after like 1 year, 2 years, or maybe 5 years after because of those video games.
Yeah, I also noticed a number of comments on there saying they'd previously heard one of the remixes, one of the many remixes of the track that are out there, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize this was the original of this remix I've been listening to." And this was,
Yeah,
years after the video had come out and stuff. So it's interesting how that sort of works. Definitely.
yeah. And like Move That Dope, a lot of people were surprised that Pharrell was rhyming that good and rhyming about that stuff. So it's always interesting to see like reactions of from people that are not fans like us, just to being mesmerized about Pharrell's skills on rapping and his flow and everything. Yeah,
Oh, he can rap as well. Wow.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one thing I was, yeah, had I been able to get in touch with Mike in a decent amount of time, one thing I did mention in my email to him was like, I'd be really interested to understand, how many concepts they had for the video. Because I'm sure there probably were. I'm fairly sure there wasn't just one concept where it's you do your writing on the wall like that. There were probably other ones. So, yeah, did they, as you mentioned, potentially include artwork of Major Lazer, Pharrell? Was there other animations that may have been involved in there as well? It would have been interesting to have seen what other ideas they had before they settled on, the one that they did settle on.
Yeah, it is. And also like I said before, how amazingly well thought that video was, because even they put out like elements from N.E.R.D, from Pharrell in there, like you can see it. Like, man, they really did a really good work on that, and the artist, of course. Maybe he got a team also, so they all work together. Because, like we are saying, like since the beginning, like this video must have a lot of work to do it. So yeah, it couldn't have been done with just like 2 or 3 people. It has to be a whole team behind it.
Yeah. If I do hear back from Mike in the future, then I will try and include any comments or anything I get in a future podcast for sure. Let's talk a
Yes.
little bit about the track, and then I want to go back to some of the elements in the video itself. The song itself, like you said, I think you find the video more appealing than the track itself, and I find it a mixed bag. I find it like a good beat. I really like the production of the track itself. But then it's written by Diplo and Pharrell, and it's written in a certain style, and the kind of content and how it's been pieced together, I just found a bit messy and a bit weird at times. There are some really good lines in there, and then there are some really, really poor lines in there as well. And from listening back to it and looking at what the content of each verse is, I think you can probably tell, or I'm assuming from the content, that the first verse was written by Diplo because it references people that he's a fan of, people that he's worked with. Second verse, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. And then the third verse seems to be written by Pharrell, at least the last part of it, because it's referencing a lot of work and collaborations he's done with certain people. But the track itself is certainly, yeah, a mixed bag. And I would say I'm probably with you. I'd probably prefer to watch the video, as it were, than actually listen to the track itself. If the track came on and I was in the car, depending on my mood, I might listen to it, I might skip it. But I think if that video came on at any point while I'm watching, I don't know, a playlist on YouTube or something on the TV, I'd probably always quite happily sit there and watch it, just because it is kind of mesmerizing almost, watching him do the calligraphy and do the artwork itself.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, I think this video is like watching Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk, like you always have to stop to just look at it Yeah, I agree with you. Is the video visually appealing? So
Most
good.
definitely. And speaking
Yeah,
of Michael Jackson, he makes a small appearance in this video near the start of the video. So these are some of the little kind of animations and things that I noticed throughout the video, which were quite nice. So obviously on the word "bad," Michael Jackson appears for a split second, which was nice to have in there.
yeah,
You mentioned earlier the Mario Kart bit, which I also saw, which I found really weird because all of the other words, as it goes through the song, they all have a transition. So they all zoom in, zoom out, go side to side, whatever it might be. But with Mario Kart, it just hits the word Mario, then just hits the word kart. They're just like a straight cut, which kind of says to me they may have animated something in there that they didn't get clearance to show. Because I know afterwards you see the little turtle shell, you see the little stars as well, which are from Mario, obviously. But I got the feeling that maybe they put something in there that actually depicted Mario or something from the game, and they didn't get clearance from it for it, and at the last minute thought, "Shit, we need to take that animation out. How
yeah,
can we do this quickly? Well, we'll just put the words Mario Kart there, and that's it. No transition, no nothing, just the words straight in your face, and that's it."
yeah.
So that's one thing I found like a little bit. It happens quite quickly, so you probably wouldn't normally notice. But having watched it a few times today, I found that bit kind of quite jarring to sort of see it like that when all the rest of it moves so smoothly in transitions really well from word to word, line to line, animation to animation, etc.
Okay. No, I haven't like pay attention to that. Like I'm gonna watch it again just to see. Yeah, that's cool.
Just one of those weird things that I noticed. Then, yeah.
Yeah,
What else have I got in here? I do like the BBC ice cream reference where it says BBC ice cream skewed on, and then it says no discounts, no coupons, which is obviously a reference to it being a luxury brand. They don't do discounts and all that kind of thing, which I found hilarious. Seeing as 2 weeks ago we were talking about how so much of their stuff is now always on sale, and everyone just buys
yeah,
stuff in the sale all the time.
yeah. Hey, and didn't they did a sale like 2 for 1 back in 2004, 2005, something like that on the ice cream shoes?
I don't know. They may have done. I'm not sure.
I remember something like that. And I kind of remember like kind of vividly because I was so pissed because I was in Brazil. Like just to ship a sneaker from the US, it would be like a fortune. But I remember that like, they did a sale and it was like 2 for 1.
That may well have happened. Yeah.
But
As
yeah,
I say regular, I can barely remember what I had for dinner yesterday, let alone a sale that may have happened 10 or 20 years ago. But
just going to say like I really like the raps and even the silly beats and the his flow like kind of reminds me what Missy does, like making noisy, making boom zoom, all the dan dan diddy, dan dan. It reminds me kind of Missy, like Missy was doing like all these crazy sounds, sometimes to rhyme, sometimes just because sounds cool, or sometimes just because fits so well on the song. And I think all those crazy things that they did on that song is really cool. Yeah, and when I hit you this today earlier, like saying like, oh, I kind of forgot how amazing this song was that because I was on the street walking, I was pumped up, like kind of dancing, and and that makes me think about like I remember when the song came out, like Tyler tweeted something like, oh, I wanna do coke. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. Like this song, like they are talking about drugs, they are talking also about coke, and like, oh, maybe if I got some coke, I'm gonna try it just because.
just in case any lawyers are listening out there, we do not encourage anybody out there
No, of course
to
not.
try any illegal drugs, to handle any illegal drugs, or anything else. Rafa
Don't
does
do
not
it.
represent the opinions of everyone else involved in this podcast.
Yes, exactly. And I have never done coke, but if that song came
But
out, if I'm in the club and that song starts to play and I see a line of coke, maybe I'm gonna jump in.
I hope I'm there when that day happens, because that would be impressive to see. And yeah, just back to your kind of point about some of the elements in the song as well. I think most of those are probably written by Diplo, because I think a lot of them reference other people that he talks about in the song, like Ika Mouse and people like that had did similar things on a lot of their kind of Jamaican reggae tracks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the kind of thing with Major Lazer. They incorporate a lot of that kind of Jamaican influence and background, obviously because of their own
Yeah,
backgrounds, into tracks like that. So yeah, that was a nice addition to the song, I think. In terms of
yeah.
things that weren't great in terms of lyrically, what did I have written down? And I can't believe they made this famous artist write this on a wall. Shitty attitude, get piss and pooed on.
No,
Just
I think
like
this is the best line, like hands down.
from what I could see in the YouTube comments, that is, you either love that line or you absolutely hate it. And yeah, I
Like
don't like
why?
it.
Why would you rap that? But it's also cool. Like I feel like mixed feelings.
Yeah, I get the wordplay, like shitty attitude, and then I get the reference it's making, like you get shit on because like you've got a shitty attitude, but just the way it's worded is just like
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
I'm sure they could have come up with something better than that.
yeah. Or maybe just like, they did it on purpose, just to make people feel things.
Yeah,
Like,
possibly, yeah, possibly.
yeah, yeah, because every time I hear that line, I always think about someone getting beat and pooped on. But when they do it like in sex stuff, that those guys that pay to a woman like, oh, just eat a lot of beans and later
Oh,
tonight you came
bro.
over. Okay, okay, sorry.
I don't know if this is going to make the edit of the podcast later. I must remember that that there are younger people that listen to this podcast sometimes. Some of them my son's age, and yeah,
They're gonna find out about it sooner or later,
what
like
better
I
place to
did.
find out than from you? Jesus Christ! If anyone under the age of 18 is listening to this podcast, please do not go and Google the things that Rafa is talking about. Please
Don't do
just
it. No,
just
I beg
blank
you,
this
don't
from your
do it. It's
mind.
horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the song. The other line that was "Calm down, you calm down." Um,
Yeah, I'm
the
cool.
other line that's just a bit like empty and a bit was "Bang on that ass like an orangutan." Just what is that? What orangutans are
Yeah,
famous for? And if there's any ape that's famous for beating something, it's a gorilla that beats their chest. So I didn't get it. And again, I'm not
yeah,
a fan
yeah,
of that line. It sounds like again, it's I've got this line I want to use. How can I fit it in? And they've just forced it in and just got anything to kind of rhyme with it. And yeah,
yeah. But you have to think about, like, when the whole line sounds really cool. Like, if you don't know English, it sounds really cool. Like, bang it on that ass like a orangutan thing. It has a sound on it.
the vocal arrangement of it and the way it's actually done does works really well. Works really well throughout the whole track. But yeah, I think as a native English speaker, I'm kind of listening to that thinking like, I know not all
Yeah.
songs have to make sense, but at the same time, like this is just weird shit. Like, yeah,
Maybe if we do coke and listen to that song, we're gonna get it. Oh, now that makes sense.
again, The lawyers are telling me to say, do not take cocaine in order to try and understand what this
Man,
track
I'm going to
means.
prison. It's Pharrell's and Diplo's fault, man. It's not me. I'm just
Yes, when we
talking.
get removed from Apple Podcasts and everywhere else, we'll blame it on Diplo and Pharrell.
Yeah, please.
And then what else was I going to mention? Yeah, like towards the end of the final verse, is already sort of said. I think that's one that Pharrell has written, and he kind of calls out all of the kind of fashion collaborations he's had to date. So he calls out Marc Jacobs that he worked with at LV at the time, Albert, who I think it's Albert Albaz, who was a Lanvin at the time. He also mentions Comme des Garçons as well. I think he'd been working with them at the time, and he also did the fragrance with them around that time, I think,
Yeah, exactly.
where Cause did the design of the bottle. I still never,
Yeah,
I was always so tempted to buy that fragrance, but I read so many awful reviews about it online from people that
really.
I never did.
Okay.
And even to this day, you can still get it in some places if you like look it up on
Yeah,
eBay or something. And I always think like, should I buy one? But I just
yeah.
remember all the awful reviews of how awful the smell is.
I mean, the bottle is pretty cool.
The bottle's nice, yeah. It's designed beautifully by Cause. But then I'm like, yeah, do I really want to spray that on myself and stink of whatever it fucking stinks of?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, and another thing that I always like to see Pharrell rap about, like when he's super braggadocious raps, like oh man, it's so cool. And in this song, like, and uh, and I think that especially the last verse is kind of like a part two of his verse on Move That Though, because he also like super braggy, talking about his collaborations and everything. And this one, he also he repeats his collaboration with Comme des Garçons. He also mentioned on Move That Dough. So it's always cool to see the side of Pharrell, especially on that moment, because he was like always like praising everybody, saying, "Oh, thank God" and everything, which is cool. But sometimes was, and especially for us that we are fans and we also like seeing his interviews, and he always like super thankful with everybody. So it was cool to hear his braggadocious side, talking like dropping a lot of names and collaborations. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we do always like a braggy P for sure.
Yeah,
One thing I did notice as well, and kind of like as well, although it's not done brilliantly, is how he ties in the second verse with the third verse. So he ends the second verse talking about spicy Chinese food, something being hot, and he says
yeah,
hot like Mulan, which is obviously a reference to the place in China.
yeah,
So he's been talking about Chinese food, but then he then starts the next verse with hot like Tucson. So yeah, Mulan Tucson kind of rhyme. And I like the idea of what he was doing there by tying in the end of one verse to the start of another. It didn't work brilliantly because lyrically, Moulin and Tucson, like okay, they're both hot places, I guess. But I liked the idea at least.
yeah. No, it is, and I also, and he probably used it because he was like, because of the next lines, he's going to rhyme with it and everything. But yeah, his flow on this is pretty amazing. Like I think the last, if I remember correctly, but I think the last verse, like it, everything rhymes with the same sounds, right? Like tucson, screwed on, coupons, screwed on, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty cool.
In that last verse here, there's also a nice, as you mentioned, there's a reference to Poupon, which obviously ties into him calling out Rolls Royce, owning Rolls Royces. So
Yeah,
more braggy P.
more. And for a person that always say that doesn't do drugs, Pharrell talks really well about drugs, right? not just in the song, but in other songs also. Like, oh, what are you saying, P? Like, it's just
He
for
gets his
the
references in
interviews.
there, and yeah, I think he's not that he would ever admit to doing anything if he had, but you know, he's been around people, let's say.
He has that classic moment with him with Snoop Dogg and Stevie Wonder on the studio where he was high as hell. So good.
A bizarre situation to be in, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Trying to produce
And
Stevie Wonder, but to be so high that you can't actually manage to do it.
yeah, can you imagine? And one thing that you mentioned, and I was thinking about it after you said it, like that song maybe Pharrell did that song like way before the song came out, and that makes me think about maybe he did that song for Azealia Banks because she kinda was doing that type of sound back in 2010, 2011, right? Like I remember they put out a song that was like kind of good, and maybe that was it.
Yeah, quite possibly. I think that's the thing with a lot of Pharrell stuff where he guests on things. You know, they throw a lot of ideas out there, then a lot of the vocals just kind of sit around for a while until they can kind of make them work and they can actually get the
Mm,
track sort of happening. So I know like some of the Daft Punk stuff, you know, he'd go and record with them and those vocals would sit there for months and months and months until they could find the right thing to work it with. And what's the other one he did? What's that house track that he did? I want
the
to know your
one?
name.
Ah, I
Yeah,
wanna know
yeah,
your
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Now that like he recorded, I think like a year before or something, and he recorded it completely differently, and they had to chop up all of the vocals, like reorder them, re-engineer them, repitch them, and everything to get it to fit like the track they wanted it to actually go on in the end. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that you know also sits around for a while as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And and I was like thinking like, oh, who? Because I always think like when Pharrell makes a beat, make a song, like he always think about someone. And I was thinking like maybe he was thinking about Missy or even uh Gwen Stefani because I I find this song kind of similar to Yummy, like it's kind of minimalist but has a lot of drums in it, the rhythm, the craziness. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, potentially for sure. Did we have anything else on this track or this video we wanted to mention?
I don't know. I think that was it.
All right. Nice. Well, I think a resounding agreement from the both of us. We like the song, but we prefer the video.
Oh yeah, 100%. Even better if they are playing together. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So let's get on to some news and stuff from the last couple of weeks. I had a couple of bits written down here. It's been a quiet couple of weeks, but speaking of Pharrell things that have been hanging around for quite a while, he has a new, and I'm saying new in inverted commas, track with Miley Cyrus that came out last week.
Yes.
Now, this has supposedly been sat around in the archives for quite a number of years. We
Maybe
heard,
10 years.
yeah, about 10 years or so, perhaps, yeah. And we heard a bit of it at the last LV show where they played it as one of the songs during the show itself. And now we have two official videos. So I think if you go to Pharrell's YouTube page, there's a lyric video. If you go to Miley Cyrus's YouTube page, you've got what's kind of the proper video. Um, I don't like the song. I don't like either of the videos. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't like Miley Cyrus. That puts me off immediately. But
Damn.
yeah, but even if it wasn't her, well, no, that's a lie. Actually, I was going to say even if it wasn't her, I wouldn't like the track. I would say if it was another female vocalist on the track, I probably would like it more. But yeah, I don't like Miley Cyrus, and even without her on the track, it sounds like it's sort of 10 years old, perhaps.
Yes,
It sounds
100%.
like from back then. It doesn't seem that it's been updated all that much in the last 10 years when they've decided to pull it out of the archive and blow the dust off of it and release it to the world.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Like because of the LV collection, and also one of the greatest artists of all time just put out some country songs that is Beyonce. So it kind of makes sense, right? Like it's kind of a wave coming. So why not like put out a country song just to see what is going to happen? Yeah, and I was like when I first heard it, I I felt like oh, this song is blah. I don't know, like, but for some reason, like I put out to hear on my cell phone, and it was on repeat. And after like the third listening, I was like, oh man, she's kind of cool. And I mean, it's the classic pop song, especially when it comes to country music, the when they repeat like some lines or the chorus all over again, like, and I think it kind of like gets you a little bit. It's starting to grow on you. But if you keep listening, like in the first listen, it's like, oh, it's mad. But if you keep listening, like, oh, okay, I think I kind of get it
I'll take
why
your
they
word for
released that
this
song.
because I listened to it 5 times today. And after the fifth time, I was like,
Why?
fuck. I was like, fuck this.
And in my part, like I'm opposite because I kind of like Miley Cyrus, but I don't like her music. But I like her as a person. I like her. I don't know why. She's a
And for
man.
the obviously, people are listening. I'm making some distorted faces at what Rafa is saying because, yeah, I don't know. She's one of those. I don't know her. She's probably lovely, I'm sure, but she's one of those personalities. I think that I just don't like.
Yeah, yeah,
Just too much.
yeah,
Just
yeah. No, I
attention,
get it.
ADD, attention seeking, just hyperactive, just ugh, I'm not a fan. And then watching the video today, I'd seen the lyric video previously, and today I watched her version of the video properly, and it was just like the first thing I thought was she looks like a trailer trash Tina Turner or a trailer trash Beyonce.
Damn. It's like a Halloween cat costume, right? Of those
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
women. Yeah, it is.
It looked like something,
Damn.
yeah. And the hair as well. Like the hair looks like a sort of Tina Turner type thing that I can imagine. It was like, yeah, it would work on Tina Turner or fucking Beyonce or somebody, but on her skinny white frame, it just like
Yeah, yeah.
no, it ain't a good look, and it's not a good sound either.
Yeah, no, that part I agree with you. Like the look, it doesn't work for me. And I still trying to figure it out why they she tried that look.
Yeah, exactly. To me, it just doesn't fit the song. The
Yeah,
video itself is very, we're talking about simplistic videos, and we've gone from one simplistic, I'm saying simplistic in air quotes, one simplistic video to another. But hers just genuinely is. It's just her in a shiny dress, just
yeah,
dancing on the spot for 3.5 minutes. There's nothing
yeah,
to it at all. There's no personality. There's no engagement. There's nothing to draw you in to entertain you, or at least not for me. It's just
yeah,
her
yeah,
prancing around and I don't get it. The
yeah.
only thing I can imagine is they said we've got a budget for this video, but the budget is $5,000. So we're going to spend 3,000 on your shiny dress and 2,000 on this white space and some lighting that you can use for an hour. Off you go.
Isn't the dress Louis Vuitton's?
I don't know. It
Yeah,
possibly is. I imagine it
yeah,
might well
yeah.
be.
Yeah, I thought it was, but I mean, I haven't paid attention for anything about that, but I think it is. I think that's why they put out a video in this song because of Louis Vuitton. But let's
Yeah,
see.
quite possibly. Yeah,
Yeah. But do you know that song also makes me think about another um another really hated song that is I forgot about the name of the song, but
sing it
Hot
for
and
me
Fun.
instead.
Hot and Fun.
Oh,
You know
fuck
the
off.
bass, yeah. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. I think the bass line is kind of similar.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite N.E.R.D songs. I hate it.
Now, Party People must be the worst one.
That's up there as well. Most of that album is up there, to be honest. Yeah, there's a few good tracks on that album, but most
Yeah,
of it is not great. Let's say.
yeah. No, 100%. And but yeah, I think that is the same formula. It's for the radio, trying to make people repeat the lyrics, repeat the chorus, dance to it, and that's it.
Yeah, and I say this as a 41-year-old man. Like, I'm well aware that the song, it's not made for me. It's not marketed to me, but it's still just objectively, I don't think, a particularly good song.
And I would love, and I will pay money just to see you dancing to that song.
Do you want me wearing the dress as well?
I think that would be too much, even for me.
Oh, that would be too much, really. Damn, we found your limit, have you? We found the line that
Yeah.
Rafa will not cross. Jesus.
And I try to protect you here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, because I was about to go and do it, wasn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're
Oh,
welcome.
bad times. Anyway, next, I think straight after the last episode we recorded, or maybe the day after, Tyler announced his new capsule collection with LV in collaboration with Pharrell as well. I think this is great. I think
Yeah,
this is great for Tyler, great for LV. I think the pieces that are in the capsule collection are actually really nice. You can see a lot of his influences from some old BBC ice cream stuff, from certain sneakers, from the kind of golf wang stuff he does, which I don't tend to follow too closely, but I'm aware of some of it. You could see all those influences, and there's a lot of really nice pieces in there. I was quite impressed.
yes, it is. And I was not just that impressed because it looks a lot like the thing that he is doing with Go Floor. And but I think that's why I also love it because I really like Go Floor, all the things that he's putting out with his like because Go Floor is kind of different from Go Fang, right?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and
I put my hands up and I apologise because I'm not aware of the different
yeah.
golf things.
So basically the difference like Go Fang is like his normal stuff, like the things that he's doing since like 2010, and Go Flow is kind of his premium brand. Everything's more expensive, the quality is better.
Golf Wang is his ice cream. Golf Le Fleur is his BBC.
Yes, exactly.
There's a nice
And
analogy to keep it on point, on topic.
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I love it. And the thing that they did with the Louis Vuitton pattern logo, they put out some colors. It's like it feels like it's hand drawn. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really nice bits. Again, if it were marketed at me and it were attainable by someone that earns what I earn, I would probably go and buy some. But unfortunately, that probably won't be the case.
Ah,
But I
yeah,
have to
yeah,
see
yeah,
with
yeah.
a lot of like Tyler's stuff. No, I think I've said this before on the podcast. I never used to be a big fan of him or his music, but as he's got older and matured, so has his music, his writing, his production, his clothing as well. I was in Sweden recently, but I was in Sweden again at the end of last year, and I went to a store that had the Golf Le Fleur Lacoste collaboration,
Yeah.
and they had it in the store. And again, some of that was really, really nice and surprised me in a
Yeah,
positive
yeah, yeah.
way.
Yeah, no, the collection with Lacoste is also pretty good, but it's everything on brand for him. Like everything's really similar to what he's doing with Go Floor. And I think it's awesome because and once again we are seeing Tyler doing basically what Pharrell taught him. Because Pharrell was doing the same thing. Like when Pharrell was doing a certain style. He was repeating that style for days and days, weeks and weeks, months and months, like the same colors, the same pattern. And I, since the beginning of Tyler's career, you can see he's doing the same thing. You know, not just he's not just influenced by Pharrell on music or fashion, but the way he works also is pretty similar with what Pharrell did back in the day.
Yeah, it's good to see him getting these opportunities and moving up to well, you move up to LV and there's not much higher that you can go.
Yeah, exactly.
Really great to see him being able to kind of show his skills at such a high level into a whole new audience.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's pretty amazing. Like the amount of doors and windows that Pharrell opened for him is pretty cool to see.
And speaking of that Golf Le Fleur, what did I say? Lacoste collaboration. I saw that at Sneakers and Stuff in Stockholm. And my last point that I had here in my notes to mention, just as an aside, and I'll say it before I forget, is that there is a big SNS sale on at the moment. So if you're on the lookout for new sneakers, new clothes, there is a very big
Nice.
SNS sale right now. There was unfortunately, no Golf Le Fleur stuff in the sale, but plenty of other really nice stuff. So that's my
Nice.
my tip for the week. Get on that.
Nice. Will do. Julian is not gonna be happy about that, but
Oh
I
no,
will.
as I say, luckily, my other half I don't think listens to the podcast. So if I buy something, I can kind of hide it away and then secretly talk about it on the podcast and get away with it.
Yeah,
But let's
yeah,
hope it's the same for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's hope.
Jules doesn't want to listen to us two talk anyway, does she? No.
Yeah, no, 100%.
She's a sensible girl with, a brain in her head. She doesn't want to listen to us too.
No, and she can't take it anymore. Like me talking about Pharrell Williams, like man, do I talk about that man? She can't take it anymore.
That poor girl. Yeah, she's endured
Yeah,
it for many years and doesn't need to hear it even more. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Was there anything else you had that you wanted to discuss this week?
No, I think that was it. Like since we were talking about like the collaboration with Tyler and Pharrell and Louis Vuitton, for everybody that is listening, you can check it out my Instagram page. That is nick.art.lel. And I did a illustration from that, and
Oh, you
people
did
seem to enjoy.
the sneakers, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you feel about those
Oh,
sneakers? Because they look like to me. I saw them in I don't know what the reference point is, but what I remember is a couple of years ago was it Mischief did the wavy baby things with like the wavy sole, which these kind of look like. I don't know if they're meant to be based on that or not, or where it comes from. But what's your opinion of them?
yeah, I really like as a piece. I really like them. Like, I every time they do like the Louis Vuitton pattern on shoes, I always like it. I don't know why. And it's something that they repeatedly do it, like every time they do it. But I don't know why. Like I always like it. I think it looks pretty cool. and and of course like the the colorway is appealing also, like these colors that I really like, but as like I said, as a piece I wouldn't wear it because I don't have the style for it. But I would like to see them like on a shelf just there, like as a
Yeah,
piece. Like it's pretty cool. And the other
yeah.
sneakers they are going to put out is also pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not sure what we're talking about, then yeah, you can definitely reference Rafa's Instagram page, Sneak Cartel, and I'll put the links in the show notes so you can go over there and check out the shoes and also his artwork that he's done of them.
Yes, please, and thank you.
Yes, please, thank you. Please buy everything. Thank you very much.
Yes, especially that part.
Oh, yes. Well, I guess that wraps it up for this week then. We've actually kept it within time this week.
Yeah, man.
My editing job will be a little bit easier this week as opposed to the last couple of times where we seemed to talk forever.
Yeah.
So, you can find the show notes and all the information over on the website, which is the others.net. You can get all the links for all the social media places over at linktree/others podcast. You can find me at Steve R. Penny. Rafa, are there any other places you want to mention where people can find you?
No, I think just my illustration Instagram page is okay. Like I don't want anyone getting to my personal business. Stay out of my life. Just
Keep your comments to yourself and your
yes, definitely.
opinions and stay the fuck away from him.
No, but if someone like I don't know, like find me like I don't know, maybe a cool guy, like you can find me on Rafito underline Zurk on Instagram. That is my personal page, and also like we said before, the illustration page is called Sneak Cartel.
Lovely. And we will put those links in the show notes. So if you do find him a cooler guy and, you know, you enjoy his handsome face and his lovely Brazilian voice, then you can head over there and follow him. But we'll wrap it up there. So thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back in a couple of weeks with a new track and a new video to discuss and whatever latest news has happened. Hopefully there will be something. And until
Yes.
then, we'll catch you then. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye. Star Trek.